Ladies and gentlemen, today, exploring NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, and market trends, analyzing recent data and upcoming earnings for insights into the current market landscape. I want to understand what is happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, and other tickers, and I want to know what is happening in the market and any important things to look for in the coming week. Let's begin by understanding what's happening in the market. NIO has dropped by 2.49% today and is struggling alongside the broader market. We didn't see any significant bounce despite having some good PCE data. The PCE report was in line with our expectations, and the expectations for 5-year inflation were also somewhat as expected. Most reports were close to expectations. It didn't turn out to be as bad as feared. Also, remember that Amazon had strong earnings. So, the market tried to pop in the morning, but it quickly came down, and we had a rough day. There's significant fear in the market, and we're looking at various indicators of extraordinary fear. When we reach these extreme fear levels, that's when the market starts looking for its bottom. You can see that it was at this extraordinary level in October of last year. It happened in March as well when the market was rallying, and now it's happening again, which means a good bounce might be just around the corner. But the market is not quite ready for a bounce yet. It might take a little more time, and we have some significant earnings announcements coming up in the next week. We have AMD and Pfizer on Tuesday, PayPal and Roku on Wednesday, and Apple and Shopify on Thursday. So we have 2 big days coming up. Besides that, I just want to point out that when we look at our economic calendar schedule, there's not much special happening on Monday. For Tuesday, we have mainly some PMI reports, and then NIO is set to announce its deliveries, which will be significant. Additionally, next week, on Wednesday, November 1st, we have the FOMC meeting, and other than that, there's nothing particularly noteworthy for the week. So we'll see what happens on that day. In the case of NIO, Morgan Stanley has suggested some insights into material sales. NIO is considering acquiring some factory assets, with a net value of around $574 million USD or so. And there's another factory that NIO may be interested in buying. This is significant news for NIO. Morgan Stanley has said that if NIO can improve its capabilities, it's excellent news. But there are also concerns about the material cash flow, and investors may see how NIO manages its cash burn rate. So this can be viewed in 2 ways. There are both positive and negative aspects. But they also said that they have a lot of good expectations. You can go and see that their goal is to reach NIO shares at $18 per share, and over time, it's increasing by 88%. So this is a situation where views are quite different, but there are more good expectations than bad. If something happens, most investors will be delighted if NIO gains this strength and control. Talking about the data, Deutsche Bank is only giving you a buy rating, but the price-to-earnings ratio is flat compared to technicals or charts. For now, the volume is approximately $34 million. Speaking of NIO, I'm looking at insurance. The 30-minute time frame looks a bit weak, and we are watching this sell-off further. But I just want to say that there is a head and shoulders pattern on NIO here, and it seems that it can go down to $7, and their NIO will start to balance. So maybe there are chances of a bit more downside. Nevertheless, we have a bullish divergence developing, but I think NIO can go down a little more to around $7. We can see some bottoming around there in the next week, and then maybe we'll see deliveries or something like that. Now for SPY. I was hoping to see a bounce today, especially after Amazon earnings, and today we got bullish data. But all of this gave the market a temporary bounce, but the market continued to go down. Now, the next level to watch is that we have technically fallen below 410, so 409 is the support. Then we have this historic support around 405. It's essential to watch this because 405 is a key support. It's around 403.74. We are closely watching these levels to see if the buyers will come in or not. But if we lose 405, then 402 is also a question. My feeling is that 405 will be a crucial level, and we can get very close to the 400 area. Now, I'm not seeing us go to 380 or something like that because I think the market is quite close to bottoming. A good bullish divergence is developing, but there is still a possibility of more downside on SPY. There are no signs of a bounce because a very bearish candle is visible on the daily chart. It looks quite weak right now. We might go a bit more down to around 405, and we are watching how the FOMC affects us. I think there are also chances of a little more downside for Tesla. It looks a bit weak on the 4-hour chart, and we can continue testing this thing further at 200 and 2.5. We can see more potential downsides. We are looking at Tesla at 200, trying to understand how it works and whether it's okay or not. If it falls, more losses can occur. Tesla might bounce back later with the market, but there's potential for more losses now, so stay prepared. In the case of IWM, it still looks bearish. I can see it dropping towards 158 soon. IWM has been successful in consolidating, but this was a significant drop. It doesn't seem like it has recovered from its drop yet, and there might be more losses ahead. It's essential to note that this is the 200 EMA, and we are just testing it right now. If this thing keeps falling, there might be a vacuum down to 340. There's another gap below, but I will be concerned about the gap once we reach 340. If we lose 340, I anticipate it coming down to the 330s. So as of now, we have this gap below, and this is a crucial area at 337. If QQQ loses 337, we might come down to fill this gap and then bounce. Before the bounce, there can be considerable damage, but it looks more bearish for now. So be cautious. I believe the market is still in a bottoming process, and I think 340 will be a critical support, but we can only wait and see. Apple has turned bearish. It's somewhat bearish to some extent, but I've already mentioned that this discussion is for a 4-hour time frame. It looks good on a daily basis, so I can consider trading Apple here for a while because there's resistance at 169. If it fails here, we'll see it go lower, and I think it will only trade sideways. Nvidia has been consolidating, but it appears a bit weaker on a daily basis. I can see more downside in Nvidia. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down to 395. I'm looking at this gap for Nvidia. We have a gap all the way to the mid-390. I think this gap will be filled soon if we continue to incur more losses. So be very cautious and pay close attention to these levels, especially the gap at 395 and the support at 390. Therefore, check these levels. We only know that we're seeing a bit more bearishness in Nvidia. Perhaps it can drop to fill this gap before bouncing later, but we're not ready now. It seems like there's more downside to come in the market, but I still believe the market will bounce for November and December. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing and see you in the next video.